The really exciting thing about the Ambassador Academy, and the very profound thing for Barbara and all of us, is it is about taking the principles of conscious evolution, the sum total of what Barbara had taught for decades, and to practice it, to take each of our unique genius and our collective genius into the world in a practical way to transform where we're at right now. Barbara had always said, as everyone knows, our crisis is a birth, and she said that all the more forcefully, powerfully in recent years, just because of what we're experiencing on the planet. And this Ambassador Academy was about contributing to the building up, to the generativity, our agreement to evolve, not devolve. And this cohort, this community, this program, whatever we want to call it, is most powerful. And Barbara was excited about this because it's about taking real action to impact that change for evolution, that shift for evolution. And that's why we're all here and we're all active, and it's to join genius with you even here right now is part of our work, most certainly. And Barbara is blessing us at this very moment for being here and doing this, ambassadoring with you.
There were two things that Barbara Marx Hubbard left me with as we worked so closely together with this group. And those two things were, it's time to tell the whole truth. And the second one was more personal, and it was just be. Co-creation itself, I see it as a major catalyst for conscious evolution. And what I'm feeling by that is that we're coming from a place of creativity into a place of co-creativity. Now, we think we know what that means, perhaps because we're used to collaboration, but collaboration and co-creativity carry a little nuance between them. Co-creativity is quite a bit more along the evolutionary path. And what I've learned is that co-creativity, in its truest sense, gives the ego a very comfortable backseat. We still need it to stay grounded in this human experience, but ego doesn't play in the co-creation field because we're coming together in oneness with our unique geniuses to create something that we cannot create on our own.
There's so many aspects of this evolutionary experience and this evolutionary ambassador movement. It's really a movement that we're all moved to share our passion and our purpose and really explore the different ways that we can come together and really create that tipping point for evolution and release the devolution possibility.
I keep recognizing my evolutionary impulse day to day. Like there's another piece that comes and what would normally have been like, oh, well, I'll sit and think about that, is now like an instant yes. One of the things Barbara used to say to us was, when you get your evolutionary impulse, just say yes. Just say yes, and the next step will become apparent. And it's actually true. When you just say yes, then like Kathy was saying, the person, the book, the resource comes through and you can take that next step because it's actually the universe supporting us collectively to go towards the light and towards greater evolution, greater consciousness, freedom, and so on. So I experienced that many times over and over again, and sometimes I recognize it as the evolutionary impulse and sometimes I don't. But it's the newness that's happening in the now. And I feel like that's actually our human potential that's calling us forth. That was one of Barbara's greatest gifts and legacy, and that it's available to anybody who wants to say their yes to the more. So invitation is there. Just say yes.
I think the way that I feel most like I am living into my evolutionary ambassadorship is when I am doing something called time banking. I founded a time bank here in Valparaiso, Indiana, about 3.5 years ago. And for anybody who doesn't know, time banking is just a way for you to capture social capital. It looks a little bit like volunteering on the face of it, but instead of just giving, you give freely, you do what you want to do, just as Janet Grace just said. But it's also based on reciprocity, which if you do the math, it makes sense. Universally, there's somebody else out there who wants to give their gift. And so time banking is just a way that lets us use the internet, lets us use software to map what are the resources that people wish to share. For them to share it, they need a receiver. So it's also good about mapping who needs what you want to give. And I have just found that to be a really wonderful way to build conscious community, is to break down those walls, to break down those silos that we talked about, whether it's for solopreneurs or whether it's neighbors, or and this can work with one-to-one, one-to-many, organization to organization. I just see this as limitless potential, and it really, really lights me up.
So the resonance, the spiritual force field, the power of the collective evolutionary impulses coming through all of us has been astounding. And I'm now replicating that with groups I'm working with. Like right now, we're getting ready for the national AGM for the Greens in my own city. And I've got a tiny handful of people here. Well, what's been amazing is how people have kept stepping up, as I've kept coming from a place of resonance, deep listening, non-reactivity, because the reactivity in my head has gone down so much. And it says the microcosm and the macrocosm happening together. The final thing I'd like to share is one of the very first comments Barbara made in her first session with us on February the 14th. And it's this phrase. At one point she said, with great seriousness, take the implications of your potential very seriously. And it's just struck such a deep chord. And from there on, I felt a different kind of music coming through, because it's like we were given permission to do that, to take ourselves really seriously and to take the full implications of our full potential very, very seriously as well, and then to live into it.
What I'm tuning into is the power of sacred conversations, and I'm tuning into a particular essence of it because what I actually feel when we come together in presence and resonance, what's actually occurring here, it's almost like it's energetically palpable. Taking a moment to feel how we entered into this conversation and how there's a continual rising that feels like it's occurring. Can you feel that as well? So what I'm tuning into is that I feel like my cells are actually being upgraded in this breath, in this conversation, in this good company, in the resonance, in the intention. And there's something about that feels new. So to respond to your question, Priya, around how do I experience the newness, even just sitting in this field together, I have so many insights. You don't know what's happening in the background. Even in this conversation, I've got a little notepad here and I've got these little insights that I'm sticking up on the wall, because just being in this vibration and in this field that we're co-creating together, something new becomes available to me if I'm willing to listen and to receive. And so I felt that was really important to name that, this opportunity for everyone who's coming in to listen to this interview to come into the opportunity of these smaller resonant groups. And they can do that through us, with us, or you may already have your own channel.
Some people now listening to us never having heard of Barbara maybe never are amazed, oh, there is such thing like evolutionary ambassadors. I mean, if you have a resonance in yourself and in your heart, yeah, just reach out to us. I will provide links from each one of you beautiful souls from this common platform which Stephen provides. And of course, you can also reach out to myself. So I will really want to let the world know what already exists and how exciting it is to be in this family together.